Greetings, listener. Please enjoy the unintelligible ramblings of your favorite dynamic trio, Arva, Farah, and Westy, as they dive into their childhood memories. Welcome to The Unintelligibles.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Unintelligibles. I'm Arva and I'm here today with Westy and Farah.
Hello.
Hello.
And today, daylight savings has ruined my sleep schedule even more.
Fucking same. Oh my god.
It's the worst when you're about to go to sleep or you're just like hanging out late at night and all of a sudden it goes from 2 a.m. till 3 a.m. in an instant and you're like, well, fuck.
I ended stream and I was like, you know what? It's still kind of early. Maybe I'll sit down and play a game for a bit. And then it jumped ahead now and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, exactly. It happened to me while I was streaming. So I looked down and I was like, oh, it's suddenly 3 a.m. Uh-oh. That's a lot later than I thought it would be. So yeah, I didn't go to sleep until like really late last night. Because I'm just not used to this. I hate it. Stop doing this. I feel so much more tired too. Because, anyways, before I get into a fucking rant about daylight savings,
I
this
think
week's theme,
it is universally hated, though.
Yeah.
right? Like I speak for the people. I think everyone who's listening or watching is probably gonna agree with me, unless you're that one of the 4 farmers that needs
Yeah.
it.
Damn it. There was 3 at the start. Who fucked one?
We hate farmers.
We hate farmers. Bum,
Dun,
ba-dum,
ba-da-da,
bum, bum,
ba-ba-ba-ba.
bum. So today's question or theme or a theme for discussion is not going to be anything too intense. I'll save those ones for when I'm not dying from daylight savings. But today is going to be another good one. Instead of something that's negative or crazy that happened, we're going to talk about our best childhood memories or craziest.
Ooh.
As long as
Ooh.
it's like more in a positive way. I was going to do worse, but I feel like I want to do more positivity. Once again, fuck daylight savings. I
No
need some
childhood
positive
trauma.
stories. No childhood trauma. We can say that for another time. So yeah, best or craziest childhood story. It doesn't have to be like the best thing ever. Just something that like, whoa, did that happen? Or wow, I'm really glad that happened.
I'm
God, I'm
trying to
old.
think.
I had to think of a few of them. I should have thought of them in advance, but once again, these ones are harder because it's hard to think of the good things. That sounds so depressing, but it's so hard to think of the good things.
Thinking of the good things in generals is kind of like playing Dark Souls. Thinking of like the childhood good things is like playing Elden Ring, but not being allowed to roll.
Oh, true.
I think maybe I have.
It has to be a good thing, right?
Well, it can be something like crazy or shocking, so it doesn't have to be like the most positive thing, but yeah, more positive leaning.
Okay, I have a couple. One of them is, I guess it's not positive for everyone involved, but it was kind of positive for us because it was fucking funny. Does that count?
That works, yeah.
So, when I was a young wee lad, when I was a small baby of, I'm not gonna say how many years ago, we went on vacation to visit some relatives a few states away, and it wasn't like a crazy, vacation. So this is a relatively, I just slept in the back and I woke up when we were there. It's like nothing crazy happened on the trip there. I like the vacation story, before. No. So, when we got there, we always had this, like, tradition because it's the area that my cousins lived in at the time was considered one of the most haunted places in America.
Interesting.
Yeah, if you know, you can know that.
Interesting.
And they lived in a house that kind of had a little bit of a history to it. It's like the wife was presumably murdered there, and the guy died of a heart attack right after. But a positive memory,
Damn.
I have a couple of these. Like I said, it's not really good there, but a positive memory I have is whenever we go on vacation there. Like when my uncle and parents or whatever would like go to bed, we'd always go down to the basement and do like ghost hunting, Ouija board. You know, it's like, oh, if you're a ghost, come touch this. That's a very light one. I have a few others depending on how crazy it needs to get. But I don't really believe in ghosts, but I remember just having a lot of fun spending a few hours down in like a dark ass basement with like one basement window, moonlight coming in on a fucking Ouija board, and then like one sibling moving the whatchamacallit across the Ouija board. Like, I'm gonna eat your ass kind of thing. Like, oh god. Fucking crab run up the stairs.
Yeah.
That was always a lot of fun.
That's cute.
That is cute, though.
Like I said, I had a few others depending on how crazy I need to get with it. I have about 2 others, so.
I think I've collected a few, but I'll tell one. It was honestly probably one of the biggest ones was the first time I ever went to Disneyland. I know that's super cliche. Wow, kid going to Disneyland for the first time, but it was really cool. I had never been much of a Disney fan. Like, I don't hate it, but I'm not a Disney adult. I've never been one of those. I don't care too much, but it was a huge family trip planned by my grandparents, who basically like invited their whole fucking family to Disneyland. So it was like a big trip of like 20 people. We all stayed at like the same hotel. We all went to the park at the same day, and then we did our split up and everything. But that was probably my best experience going to a Disney park. One, because I was small enough where the magic was still like very, very real and true. Like all the characters, I was like, oh my god, it's Winnie the Pooh. That's crazy. Like now I see it, I'm like, oh, it's guy in a costume, but I'm gonna hug you still. Hey. But back then it was so magical, and having like the whole family there was really fun because it was like literally anyone in the family, at least on my dad's side, that I wanted to hang out with was there. That was nice.
I'm sorry. I've never been to like Disneyland. I've never been to any of those. But I'm still gonna hug you. Just a grown-up Arva just kind of doing that saunter up like, hey Winnie, how you doing?
Hey, I know you're working in there. You better be getting that bag. I know this isn't just the character anymore. I know the magic, it's not there anymore. My family was like, oh my god, let's take pictures of Winnie the Pooh and all that. And I was like, okay. But then like you get hugged by them, and I'm like, I wonder who the person inside is touching me right now. Like, who are you? Who are you? What do you look like?
Underpaid.
I don't even question it. Yeah, underpaid for sure to deal with some of those kids. Wow.
It's like,
oh my god.
I'm pretty sure they're allowed to trip the kids, so it's fine.
I would. I'd grab if I was like a tiger or something, grab the tail, pull it out in front of me. Oops. Oh my god, my tail fell in front of me and the kid fell on it. That's so unfortunate. Are you okay, little kid? Pushes him down again. Oops, that's mean. I can't see that.
See a kid running by, sweep the leg.
Throw out like a piece of garbage or something.
Like a children's park.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't.
I couldn't. I definitely could not. As much as it'd be great to like make a kid's life or their day, I couldn't deal with the bad ones.
You know, I think I need some context to this so I'm not seen in the most horrible light. I used to work a job with somebody, and she would tell me, because she used to work at Chuck E. Cheese, and when they're in the mouse suit, they specifically say, if there's a kid in your way, push them over and just say that you didn't see them.
That's so good.
Like,
so I'm working at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, like they specifically say, if there is a child in your way, you can push or trip them to make way for yourself, as long as it's not obvious. And that shit always killed me. Because it's just like, whoops,
that's
boop.
Wild.
Or like hip check them, like you're turning to say hi to somebody else, so you hip check them on the turn.
That's crazy. I'd work there. There we go.
Yeah, I hear it sucks otherwise, but I was like, but you get to like yeet children across the fucking play floor. Let's go.
You get your little pockets of revenge.
Yeah. So that's, I had to like do a little thing of, I'm not a horrible person in this regard. I know somebody who used to do it.
Yeah, I promise. I love kids. I just couldn't handle being around kids, especially at like a theme park or something where they're overstimulated and like anything can set them off. No thanks.
I do not
I'd
like
rather
kids. If you're a kid listening to this,
Kids.
I do not like you.
You
not.
specifically.
Yes, you specifically sitting there on the couch with your fucking AirPods and you have Paw Patrol on the TV, petting your tiny little chihuahua. You specifically, Brayden. I probably hit somebody out there with that.
I was like, if you get called out by this, then do some self-reflection.
If you get called out by this, please like the podcast.
Yeah, please
Like
first
and share with
actually,
your friends.
like and share, and then you could do whatever you want.
Garrett
make
with
sure
a
you're sharing
Y.
Outraged.
Man, I'm calling it. Yeah, too many here. Too many enemies.
I think it's hard. I mean, I had a really good childhood in general. I come from a loving family, so grateful for that. I think probably the best time. I think a really good. I'm trying to think. I feel like at first I was like, oh, I don't know what to pick, and now I'm like, oh, there's so many to choose from. It's like mostly all with my family, especially with my parents, because I pretty much do everything with them, even as an adult. There was how late does childhood have to be? How long ago?
I don't know. I feel like even like early teens could count still too.
Like 14 and down kind of thing.
Yeah, because I feel like you're just like starting to reach that point around 13, 14
Yeah,
where you're like a teenager.
that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a fair age range. It doesn't have to be too specific.
I think like when this is like yeah, this was like a yearly thing. Like every single year, we have a local um fair. Like the amusement parks that they set up like overnight that are like really
Oh,
rickety and
yes.
unsafe.
Yeah.
Oh god,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. So we have that every year in like the city near where I live, and every summer, like every single year, I think it's around Canada Day that they did it. My parents would take me to this fair, and they would always take me and one friend because my dad and mom, they didn't want to go on the rides with me because they would get motion sick. And now as an adult, I get motion sick, but back in the day I didn't.
Yeah.
So them taking me there, and then like I got to hang out with my best friend, and we would go on all the rides, and we just spend like the whole day there going on all the rides. And they always have a dog like talent show every year where they have like dogs that can do tricks, and like they do a little obstacle course, and they do like little frisbee competition.
Oh.
And we would always get like the food truck poutine and ice cream and the lemonade, and it was bomb. It's just a great time. It's hot as fuck always, and I usually got sunburnt.
Oh god.
It was a good
No.
time.
I love that. I've been to one or two of those before, and they are a good time.
I still try to go now, but it's a little bit harder. I don't have as many friends as I did when I was a child, because you know how you are when you're a kid. You have like a million
Mhm.
friends. And I also get motion sick super easy now, so there's a bunch of rides I can't go on anymore.
Yo, I feel that life.
I'm lucky I don't get that yet, but I'm scared the motion sickness will come one day because, man, I don't want to give up riding on rides.
It hits you at about like 28 to 30, and then you start getting like motion sick. You have to turn motion blur off on games, and you're like, oh no.
I don't
Oh.
get, which is good, but I always turn it off because people have complained about it in the past, and I'm like, well,
Yeah, motion
just
blur
turn
on
it off
games
for
is
other
just
people.
gross.
That starts hitting you on real life on rides.
No.
Take it from me. It's like I used to absolutely love roller coasters so much, and now I'm just like, oh God, make it stop.
I still go on road rides that make me motion sick out of spite of myself.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes the sacrifice has to be made.
Yeah, I mean, I still go on them, but it's just like after I get off, like, hold on a minute, let me just hit.
That's what my mom used to do. She would ride it with us because she's like, "Oh, I know you guys want to ride this ride," and then after she's like, "I need to break. I need to sit down. I'm gonna throw up."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, thank you for don't do this again. Like, thank you for going on the ride, but like, please don't."
Oh God, I'm old.
Oh man, that reminded me of a story I wanted to say, but I forgot. Shit. Fuck. The ADHD brain is so real.
Let's see.
I'll
Well,
come back to me.
while Everett's contemplating that, I'm trying to decide which one of these to do next, because it's like about most of my like really, really good memories from childhood are the vacations I took to see like those cousins, because I had a lot of fun up there. I'm sure I had like good memories at home. I would just have to ruminate on that for a while longer. But because when we go on vacation, it was always like, you know, the first day there, everyone just falls asleep because they're tired, but the kids slept always. So it's like, oh, let's go ghost hunting in the basement. But then like the next couple of days, we're like, hey, we're gonna go up to this park, and we're like, okay, that's all right. And then we'd walk for a few hours, but we always like come up on these huge rocks, and it looked out over this valley that like opened up, and it was so beautiful. And so we'd walk for 2 hours to get there, be tired as hell, but then we'd set up like a little picnic on top of a rock on top of another rock, because we have to climb up there. But you could just like see for miles, and you'd see like hawks and eagles just flying around, and just a big stretch of forest with like, there was a big river, and we would actually, that's going to come in my next one. But I do remember quite a bit sitting up, because we always go to the exact same rock, we'd have the exact same picnic, we'd have like the same sandwiches and all that. And it was always like a nice peaceful thing, you know, where you're just like, you're relaxing, you're tired, you got to climb up there, but now you're sitting down, you have food, you have this like beautiful, very gorgeous view, you gotta take the pictures. And you have me, who's a dumbass, who's like, oh no, I'm gonna fall off the rock. Ooh, and then I slip a little, like, oh God, I'm gonna fall off the fucking rock.
I did that shit all the time.
And it's like a drop that's a few hundred feet into the air, above trees, full-grown trees, as I'm hanging off the edge of the rock, like, you know, I'm actually about to fall. And everyone's just like, oh, stop playing. And I pull myself back up, like, fun trip. Waddle away.
The boy who cried wolf. You're just gonna fall off for real.
I only did that once. I only did that once. I think somebody, like, I was like, oh God, I'm gonna fall, and they like tossed me a thick stick, and they're like, use that. I was like, oh, thanks. Pull myself back up. Almost fucking died.
Jeez, I would do that. I have almost done that.
It's one of those when you're young and you're just being especially stupid, like, I can dangle off this, and then you slip like a quarter of an inch, you're like, no.
Yeah.
Every time.
I realize, like, oh, I shouldn't do that.
Hold on, I'm
Maybe
mortal.
Mom and Dad are right. Maybe they're right. Whoops.
Yeah, that was definitely me one time. I didn't even cry wolf. I just did it once. But I'd say that's a nice memory, because I do remember that, like,
almost dying.
Yes, almost dying. In fact, I did die is good.
It's true.
But just setting up like a little camp on that huge rock, just looking over. Fuck it. No one ever figured it out. It's called Elephant Rocks. If you look up Elephant Rocks. I actually gotta Google it now, make sure.
Oh, look, hold on.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a state park, and it has just those huge rocks, and it's got like some old buildings. And if you kind of look through some of the pictures, there's like a big lake going through the trees. That's where we'd go
It's really
camping.
pretty.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember this like scenery very, very vividly. If you look up their actual website, they have a website. There's like a picture in there that has a picture of the lake from up above. That's
Really pretty. I want to go here now.
Yeah, right? I'm
Oh.
just looking through all the pictures.
Oh yeah, it's very beautiful. If you go at the right time of year, like fall or spring, beautiful. Don't go in the summer, you'll die. Don't go in the summer, it's fucking hot.
Good to know. Okay.
That shit reaches like 120 degrees on those rocks. Don't do it.
Jesus.
But go in the fall when like the leaves are changing, or spring where it's not like hot yet. It is amazing.
Yeah, that looks really pretty. What the heck?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, whenever anyone mentions like going on a picnic or like even light camping, it's like, oh, that's the place I always imagine is that.
I have a few places like that. Bad news, I didn't remember the story I thought I wanted to tell. Not yet, but I did remember 2 others. I lost one, I gained 2 others, but they're small. One of them's weirdly, like, really weirdly specific. We had just freshly moving into a new condo. We used to live in a basement suite when I was a kid, and then we moved into a condo. So this is our first like place. It was really exciting. I was like, "Wow, we have our own place now." I mean, there's no one upstairs. We're not living in someone else's basement. Like, this is ours. It was literally like right down the street. So it wasn't too much of a change, but it was enough where I was like, "Oh, this is so nice." And this very specific day, a few weeks after moving in, we painted my room. Not only did we paint it the most ugly abomination of colors ever, but like everything was painted. It was, I think, the floorboards, or not the floorboards, the trim, the basement, or the floor trim, whatever the fuck that's called. Oh my god, I should know the name of that. Was painted bright orange. One wall was yellow.
Wow.
One wall was
Oh
red.
my god.
One wall
What?
was blue.
That's what you
One wall
wanted?
was forest green, and the ceiling was like yellow or something.
You,
That's what I wanted as a kid. It was a beautiful white room before I came in there, and as a kid, I wanted it the most abominable colors ever, and it was disgusting. But I was living my best life, and I think it was the Black Eyed Peas playing on the radio or on a TV, because my family always has music playing when they're like painting or something. And so I was just like running around in my little diaper in this condo, just running around listening to the Black Eyed Peas, dancing around. And I just remember like running back and forth, checking in my room every once in a while, and looking back and seeing it. And at the time being so happy, being like, whoa, it's rainbow, it's so pretty. But now that I like recount the story, I just remember looking at the room, and I just think, ew, what the fuck?
This is the most
Like, how
disgusting color.
did I have sanity in that room as a kid? That's insane. But at the time, it was great. It was a wonderful memory. I was like also working on a puzzle at the time, I think. I don't know why this is like the one memory I have of that condo, but it was just a little good moment. I was in bliss, because that was the first time I could paint my room also, because in the basement suite really couldn't like tamper too much. She was renters. So being able to paint my room, as much as it was as much as it was an ugly color combo, it was the first time I ever got my room painted. So I was like, oh, it's so exciting. Painted it like a year later though. Painted it again like a year later. I remember that very clearly, because I was like, I hate the colors in my room. I can't do this anymore. My parents were like, we told you. They should have never painted it. If they knew it, why'd they do it?
sometimes you gotta let the kids have the headache.
Sometimes
though.
you gotta learn. I know. It was so gross.
My room was pink for a very long time, and now I'm not a big fan of pink, but I was when I was a little kid, and I was very girly, and I was like, why the fuck?
You-
is
I
my
had a
room?
blue room for like years, and now it's just plain white.
My first room, I actually didn't have a bedroom until I was close to like 11 or 12, because there were so many of us. I just slept on the fucking couch. But my first room was when my brother moved out. I got his room. His room was not originally a bedroom. They like added a wall to a living room area up front of the house.
Oh, I see.
And so it was really small. Like I could fit a bed, a TV, an end table, and in the corner that didn't have a closet built in, so they had to like get a like freestanding dresser kind of thing. Just went. It was tall, not long. Those have a name. I don't remember the name, but it was just one of those in those rooms. But when he moved out, it was really funny to me thinking back now, because I'm just like, ooh, I want to do like a dark blue or a purple, and they're like, no, we're gonna paint it. And I was like, but blue or purple, like no, we're gonna paint. They painted it like a dark green, I think.
Oh.
I can't see certain colors. I was living in a mud brown room.
Oh no.
And then when
Shit brown walls.
Yes, and then when they figured it out like years later, like, oh, that's hilarious. I'm just like,
that's miserable. Because even if you could do the color too, having a room that's like dark,
it was dark.
Fucking green is not good.
Well, that's the problem, because if you do dark colors, the room gets smaller.
Yeah.
And it was already a small room. There was enough room for me to like get out of bed, take 2 steps, I was at the door. If I took 3 steps to the right, I was like against the wall. It was a tiny bedroom.
God, yeah, you never paint that and you never paint a room a dark color anyways. Usually, unless, I don't know, you really like dark colors and you have a really big room, you want to make it feel smaller, but like, especially if it's a small room, that's just setting yourself up for failure. That room's gonna be so tiny feeling.
Yeah.
That was what happened with my condo room, because the green was a dark green also, and that one side of the room, whenever I looked towards it, just felt so much smaller. And it was already a small room to start off with, and I've learned my lesson that I will have light colored walls in my rooms from now on, because it makes it feel so much bigger. Oh my god.
I think you should paint your future house just the same colors as your childhood bedroom. It's like a nostalgia thing.
Full house too, outside and everything.
Yeah.
Every side of the house outside's a different color. All the window trims orange. The doors orange.
You basically just have one of those like the color wheels, and you just spin it for every wall.
What color am I gonna paint my windowsill?
What's that? Hot
Spin the
pink.
wheel.
Let's go.
Let's
go.
Oh god. My RNG would mean that my house would be painted the worst possible colors in the world.
But only those 3 repeated.
Okay. I thought of another one.
Mm-hmm.
Big one. I don't know how I forgot about this. Back in the day, this is actually 2 times, I guess. One of them I remember better. So, my cousin had a destination wedding a long time ago. I think I was 12 or 13. And it was in Palm Springs. So, my whole family went to Palm Springs, and we stayed in like this you know the houses that you can rent. This was before Airbnb was like a big thing, but you could rent from like rental companies, and you could fit like 12 people in one house, and it's just like a really big house, and then you all split the cost.
I do
So
kind of remember that.
We did that, and we ended up going back. It was a year or 2 later for like anniversary, but also because they just really enjoyed it there. And the year we went back, my 2 brothers did not come with us. It was me and my parents, and we decided to go to Hollywood because we were like there. So we were like, let's go to Hollywood. We've never been before. And it's one of those places that you're like, you kind of always wanted to go just to see it. So my parents and I went to Hollywood I think we were there for 2 days. And we walked the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and we went to that beach, the pier. I don't remember what it's called, but I always remembered it as like the GTA beach because it's the beach that's in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh my god.
And I was like, I played that game at that age, and I was like, oh my god, we gotta go to the Grand Theft Auto beach. They were like, okay. And then we went there, and there was an aquarium there, which I did not know. So we went to the aquarium, and we went to like the wax museum, which was really fun. and it was just a good time. And then we also went to Disneyland and Universal Studios,
Ooh.
which personally I think Universal Studios is better than Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're like a young teen or above, I feel like it's better. Like it's more entertaining, whereas like Disneyland is almost more like kiddie like. Also, the wait times for the rides were significantly less. I
Yeah, because not
remember,
not a lot of people go, which means you get
yeah.
better chances of getting on rides because everyone's at Disneyland.
Well, I mean, the majority of the time at Disneyland, you're standing in line, and there was a few rides like the Space Mountain, which is like probably one of the most popular rides
Mm-hmm.
there. You took a ticket for like a time, and it was like 3 hours later that your ticket was for, because
Jesus.
and then you'd show up and you still had to wait in line for like an hour.
Yeah.
But Universal Studios, the lineups were way shorter. And also like I don't know, cuz like there's this one like bus tour where you like go onto like the sets of different movies, and there's like rides for at the time they had, cuz I know they switched them out, but they had like Transformers and Jurassic Park and The Simpsons and a few other ones that I can't remember off the top of my head. And they had a haunted house that was really cool, way better than the bullshit haunted tower at Disneyland, which I don't even think exists anymore. But it was a lot of fun. And we always said that we would go back to Universal Studios, but not Disneyland.
Nah,
Yeah, that's
Disneyland.
fair.
Let's see. I think
love that.
I think I have one more like there's a lot of little ones, but like nothing too.
Yeah, that's what I'm coming up with. There's like a bunch of smaller ones that are like a quick little second. I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah,
not too crazy.
yeah. Like I got the small ones. Like I remember playing the Resident Evil knockoff games, like with my siblings. Like, have you ever heard of the game Galarians?
What the fuck is
I don't think I
that?
have.
This is like the absolute weirdest fucking Resident Evil knockoff for PlayStation 1, but we loved it. Because it's like you're a teenager with psychic powers and you basically escape from a facility they're experimenting on you. And you gotta go, like, find your childhood friend who's getting tortured because she can see the future. It is
Damn.
the weirdest but most brutal thing because you basically have like 3 powers. It's like force, and you gotta like charge it up so you can like knock people down. You can set people on fire, or one of my favorites, which I thought was a cool mechanic, is if you use it too much, he'd like get a headache and it would drain your health while you had it. But if you got close to anyone, it
Oh,
would
my head hurty.
well, yeah, because like he used too much, so it was like his brain was overheating. They had to use an item to like stop it. But I very clearly remember once you're in that state, if you got close to anyone or an enemy got close to you, their heads would just explode in the most
Oh my
gory
god.
fashion. So you'd want to like time it. So if you know you're going through like a very infested area, you do it right then. So you just walk through, and everyone who tried to run at you would just explode in like the most horrific body gore. I remember like playing that over and over because for some reason I was the only one who could get past like a certain boss. Everyone else is just like getting fucking frustrated, and I just go through and beat it. It's like, yeah, it's not bad. Like I don't know why. But I do think I have one more big one. Yeah, give me a minute to think about it though, because I gotta like get the whole story here.
I feel like I lost another one that I had. Fudge. I have a small one, and I had a bigger one, but I also lost the bigger one.
It's The daylight
Well,
savings. Blame it on the
it really is.
daylight
It's thrown me off. It's
savings.
thrown me off. It throws me off every time, and I never expected to. I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. It's only an hour. Like I'm bitching about it a lot, but it really throws you off a lot. Holy shit. I went to another one. Yeah, one of those like fair things. We have the Peony here in British Columbia, and the Peony is a addition to like a normal little fair that's always around. Playland's always a thing in BC. It's open at the start during the summer and opening during Halloween for spooky, for Fright Night. But this was summertime. It was the Peony, which means they have a bunch of fun exhibits and fun little sponsors, and they have all the booths set up, and it's like the full shebang. And there was a Hot Wheels booth, which I've never seen in my entire
Oh,
life, and I was
hell yeah.
so excited because I'm a big old car guy, and I was like, oh, this is the best thing ever. The Peony's always good, but like this is the best. And they had a live full size like real Camaro that was hooked up to a simulated racing game.
Oh my god, that sounds
And
awesome.
I saw that and I was like, we have to do this. I'm literally like the racing gamer in the house. I need to try. I need to play it. I want to see how I do. I don't just want to do it because it looks fun. And there's like a scoreboard too. So I was like, oh, let's see if I can get a decent score. I was watching people do it, and the people were like wiping out and stuff. I was like, oh, this is hard. Like, oh, this might be. I'm just a little guy. This might be difficult. I get in the seat and I just play the game. I think I even wiped out once. But then I finish it and everyone starts cheering, and I'm like, oh, okay. It's because a kid just drove a car. It's cool, whatever. And I look up and I see the scoreboards, and I won like first place, fastest time of the day out
Let's
of anyone.
go.
Fucking baby driver up in here.
And I'm pretty sure I kept that record all day. I didn't really check too much. I checked every once in a while throughout the day to like see, and my record was always at the top. I won a free Hot Wheel from that, and I still own that Hot Wheel to this day because it was in a
Oh, hell
little
yeah.
decoration case. It was a smaller version of the Camaro I was driving, so that was really, really cool. I didn't expect to win anything that day. I just wanted to drive the Camaro. I was like, I get to drive a car. That's so cool. And then I won first. I was like, oh wow, okay, that's dope. That's really cool. I still display it. It's actually right here. I can't show you, unfortunately, but like,
Spin the wheels.
that's my Camaro.
He's just like
Me
slap
just
it, like
smacking it.
you can hear it.
2013 Hot Wheels Chevy Camaro. It's nice and shiny blue. It's dusty though. Whoops, I need to dust it. So that was pretty cool. It's a smaller thing, but once again, I literally was just playing the simulation just to sit in a real car because I could drive at the time. Obviously, I think I was like 10 or 11, maybe 12. So I couldn't drive, but I was like, I could sit in a real car and pretend to drive.
You're like, yeah, I'm a professional driver.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
Okay, I think I have one more. This is gonna be our last one.
Okay.
This is definitely from like my youngest childhood, because I'm an old man, but I'm like the youngest sibling and the youngest cousin. If that gives you an indicator about how old everyone else is. Like, it's weird because we're actually in like a almost perfect scale, because if we're going up, I have a sister that's 4 years older than me, and we have a brother that's 4 years older than her, and we have another sister who's 4 years older than him. And so it went like perfectly up like that. And my cousins were like closer together, but they were around my older sister / brother's age. So almost 12 years older than me, right? So I was always the youngest. I was always the baby. And as shockingly as it may sound, if anyone who knows me, I didn't always have a big fear of water. That got developed a little bit later than this story. Because in that same pictures of the park, if you looked it up, if you look up Elephant Rocks, you'll see this beautiful lake. We used to like go and hang out in the lake, but I couldn't really swim yet at the time. I grew up in Texas. We did not have a pool. That we did not have access to like any form of water, so I just never like learned to swim. But they were like, let's go down to the lake. And I was like, lake, woo! So we go down there. And it's not like super deep in areas. Like, when I was little, it may have come up to maybe my waist. Now it probably comes up to like, I don't know, my fucking shin or ankle. Like not deep at all. But there was this other area down there that's really cool because it has like waterfalls and you can actually ride the stream down the waterfall into the pools below. But I wasn't allowed to go there because I couldn't swim. So if I hit that, I was going to just like not come back up. But I still went with everyone and they were, you know, I was hanging out like on the rocks and I was the kid that was like, this is shiny rock. I like shiny rock. I take shiny rock home. That was me. I was that kid. And so my siblings and my cousins are like riding these waterfalls because they're like in the water. They swim a little and they like cross their arms. It takes them down into the pool below. It looks very, very fun. Now this is where my immature mind is going to come in here. I'm going to put a little warning up here. I'm not going to tell you what's a warning up because that's a spoiler, but warning for this part. So my oldest sister and my female cousin go down and they're like, you gotta kind of walk back up. My brother and my male cousin are kind of sitting there and they're looking at this other waterfall that's like not a really waterfall, it's just like a gentle little slope, but it goes down to this troop of Boy Scouts that are like doing survival skills. They're like making fishing poles and doing all that, and there's like, hey, watch this. Without any warning, my cousin like pulls his pants down.
Oh.
And
what?
He just like shits down this waterfall at them.
Oh God. Are you kidding?
No, he just took a shit down this waterfall down towards them.
That's disgusting.
And he like pulls his pants up, and as like my sister and other cousin get back up, he's just kind of sitting there laughing, and my brother's laughing, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then we start hearing.
How old were they?
That's insane.
They would have had to have been probably 17-ish.
Oh my God. That's
Okay,
too
that
old
adds
for
up.
that behavior.
A little too
though.
old, but also
16 to 7. No, wait, hang on, a little bit younger. I would say probably 15 to 16, actually, at that time.
That's teenage boy antics.
Yeah, that's about 15, 16. I had to do some quick math on that because, like, hang on, 8. Yeah, so. And it was really great because, from my perspective, like, I didn't know he did that at first. I just thought he mooned him, and I was like, haha, you're mooning him. Haha, funny. No. And then they all start fucking screaming down there at the base of this lake and running out of the water.
Insane.
And my brother and cousin are just laughing at him. And then, like, the counselor guy starts going, like, you motherfucker, and starts running up. And we're like, oh, go, 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 go. We just, like, run away.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's what they said.
Yeah, literally.
But I do remember that.
God.
It was like young me didn't understand what was happening. I thought he was mooning these, like, Boy Scouts. And you know, when you're like 7 years old, that's kind of funny.
That's
just kind of funny. Like, haha, you're mooning him. No, he like shat at them.
That's insane. I could
level.
never. Mooning, I could. I've mooned people before, but pooping?
Yeah, with confidence.
That's so gross.
Like
that's so gross.
Like that quick enough to where like my sister and cousin were not like, it wasn't a long walk. It was like maybe a 2-minute walk up after you hit the bottom of the pool and you swim out and you start climbing back up the rocks again. It's not like long. So he shat with confidence and quickly.
He did. Holy shit. That's wild.
I do remember that one and I laugh about it a lot. Like, now it's disgusting, yes. But when you're saying childhood memories, again, when you're like in the 7 to 14 range, that is funny shit.
It is.
Especially when there's a whole troop of Boy Scouts start screaming and running.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That reminds you of something?
Yes.
Oh god.
Okay, but not it does not involve poop. It just reminded me of something that I did with my brother when I was a kid. So like my brother, I have 2 older brothers. One's 4 years older than me, one's 8 years older than me. So in general, they wanted nothing to do with me unless it was to torture me. But my older brother, the one that's 4 years older than me, there was one time A couple times, but there was one time that I remember that he was like, "Oh, me and like a couple of my friends. I think I was maybe 11 or 12." And he's like, "We're going to the park. There's a park near my house. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Yes, I want to come." So it was pretty like chillax, and like they were just chatting, and I was like on a swing. And there's this cranky woman, and she was upset at us for being at the park. We weren't being loud, like we're just chatting at the park, and it was 9 o'clock on like summer break, so it was daylight outside still. But she
Mm.
was upset that we were out so late, according to her, and and she was like, "You guys are too old to be at the playground," and she's like, "I'm gonna call the cops on you." And everybody hated this woman because she was such a Karen. And so we went back to our house and we schemed, and we were like, "Let's ding dong ditch her. It's gonna be so funny." So, so at like midnight, I think, it was 3 or 4 of us like snuck over because she only lived like a couple houses away from me, and we rang her doorbell and booked it back to our house, and then we like looked out the window onto the street, and this woman for like 15 minutes walked up and down the street and was like yelling that she was gonna call the cops, and she's like, "Who did that? Where are you hiding?" And we thought it was the funniest shit ever.
Jesus.
God damn.
I don't get anyone like that who gets like mad at kids or even like just anyone for like minding their business and having a good time.
Oh my
As long
god,
as you're
that
not-
woman was crazy. My brother and his friends like actually egged her house before, and she did call the cops on him. But they fucked with her so much that she didn't see it happen, but she assumed that it was him, which it was.
Oh,
But so she called the cops, and they showed up to our house, and my mom answered the door, and my brother was like, "That wasn't me," but it was. It was absolutely him.
Yeah, you always say it wasn't you.
Yeah, and then quick one other time, me and my brother were like having a little sleepover in the living room, and we had the yellow book. For the kids that don't know what a yellow book is, it's a phone book with everybody's landlines. If you don't know what a landline is, it's a phone that's connected to your wall. And we took turns calling random numbers. Just and this is so fucking dumb. Like thinking back on it, but it was the funniest shit when we were like 12. We literally called the random numbers in the book, and we would be like, "Hi, we're conducting a survey. Do you prefer wieners or buns?" And it was the stupidest fucking thing, but it was hilarious. I don't know why, but nobody wanted to answer us. It was really weird.
Weird. No one wants to
I
be part
wonder
of the survey.
why. Only one dude answered. He said buns, so that guy's based.
There we go. I do want to say, now that you've mentioned it, what a landline is. I have never felt older. I'm going to direct this back to the kids listening to this, you little fuckers. So, I've been seeing a lot of posts like, I wish that people had like a communal phone that you just like put out in the living room. So if you needed a phone, like when yours is charged and you can't use it, you'd still be able to make a phone call. And I grabbed my chest.
It's called the
I grabbed my chest and started sinking to the floor like, oh god, these little bastards. No, they don't know what a landline is. Holy shit.
Bro, we still have a landline at my house.
We don't, because those things are fucking expensive.
yeah.
Oh, really? Ours is like $20 a month.
If we wanted one, it's like $80 a month.
Holy shit, damn.
Yeah, ours is really expensive here too, so we just do cell phones now,
Uh-huh.
which felt so weird. It was also kind of nice though, because I never had to hear that fucking phone ringing ever again.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
part.
ours doesn't ring anymore. I think we're probably getting rid of it soon because literally we don't use it.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, I had to use, back in my day, at the pool, I didn't have a cell phone yet. So when I needed to call my mom, they had a pay phone there. I had to call her,
Mhm.
collect through the pay phone.
Yes.
I used to have to do that when
Yeah.
I would go to like Now you see, kids, what an arcade is back in the day, our video games were in
Love arcade.
cabinets, and we had to go to a fucking mall that had an arcade in it, and we would pay using, I mean, usually quarters, but sometimes there'd be like, no, we only take tokens. And then,
Oh, I hate that shit.
yeah, that was the stupidest shit. But I'd be sitting there playing games and like, oh yeah, this is fun. Make sure you always have your one reserve quarter so you could call and get a ride. But guess what? I always use that reserve quarter to play another game. So then when it's time for me to call to get like picked up, I'd just be like, I'm out of money. Hold on a second. And I would just go to somebody exchanging money at the vending machine. I'd be like, I lost a quarter. Can I have one so I can call my mom? Be like, sure, here you go. And I go over to the claw machine. I play the claw machine. It's like, they'll come get me when they're fucking ready.
You're
Nice.
a grifter, bro.
Yeah, it's like
little child Westy.
They'll come get me when they're ready to get me. I'm going to hang out here for a while.
I do the same. I do the exact same.
God.
One more game. One more game before I'm going. At least.
Yep. That was me, all right. And nothing has changed. One more game. You'll get me when you're ready for me.
I wish I had an arcade where I live. The closest one is like an hour away.
Yeah, I think the closest one to me is about 30 minutes to an hour away. But it's in a mall, so at least I get to do other things after.
True, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, say mine
But it
was an
still
hour
sucks.
away. I always had to get a ride there. Be like, all right, call me ready to come home. And I wouldn't call and be like 7. And then they'd show up, be like, why didn't you call? It's like, I wasn't ready to come home.
Like,
Yeah,
what game?
you told me to call when I was ready, and I'm not. Get out.
It's like, we didn't even
Right.
give you that much money. It's like, yeah, but I can go make friends with the guy playing Street Fighter, and then I'll play him in a few games and kick his ass.
Right, I have my ways. I have my ways of doing this. I don't need all the money.
Yeah, when you're a kid, you just like find the one kid that has like a pocket full of quarters, and you follow him around like, hey, you want to play this game? Yeah, you're playing. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I was a menace.
Then you get to play with a friend, and you get to play more games.
You make like best friends in those instances, and the second the game was done, bye, and you just walk away to the next one. I'm out of money. Later, dude.
You're poor. We're
Oh,
not
really? That
friends anymore.
sucks. Yeah.
Man, child me was a fucking menace. Holy shit.
You just knew how to work the system.
Children are assholes in general, so.
It's true.
Yeah. I think I was I'm not gonna say I was like a smart kid, but I knew how to game the system. That was the problem. You don't have to be smart to game the system. It's once you've learned like that hack of, hey, that kid's exchanging a 10 for quarters. You're gonna go make friends with him. He's gonna like be playing a game. He's gonna pay for you to play TMNT. You're gonna play together. You follow that little fucker around till he's done. You find the next one.
Do you like those those people that are like chronically at casinos and they just like wander around and wait for people to finish their losing streak, and then they like steal it so that they can try to win?
Yep.
Because they'll give a payout after like a certain number of losses, so they'll just stock their rows of slot machines until they find someone who's losing a bunch and then steal it.
Yeah. That's insane.
That's you, but like at the arcade.
He wasn't. Look, those kids were having a great time. We were having a lot of fun playing TMNT 2 Turtles at a Time.
That's true. That's true.
It was a great, great time. Until, they were out of money, and I was like, all right, bye. And I just waddled away. Waddle.
Till the very next day. Bum,
Dum,
bum,
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 ba-da.
bum.
Nobody ever
No!
questioned that.
Don't get that song in my head.
Oh my God. Do you think kids
Oh,
still
good
listen to
lord.
that?
Yes, they do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really? Yeah, I guess that you have to.
It's required
childhood.
listening material.
Yeah.
That's all the stories.
I think I have one little tiny one. I'll tell one more, unless you guys have any more.
All mine are
I
small.
have lots, but like I think I said probably the best.
The heavy hitters ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think so too. This is like my last decent one. This is another later in life. I think I was like once again 10 to 12 around this time. Same kind of era of Camaro Arva. Back when I was a kid and going into high school, I was a big track and field person. I did I did like endurance racing and sprints and jumps more later into the years, but around this time I did a lot of cross country. Um and I can't remember how many. I think I did 10 in cross country events, and unfortunately I never won any of them, but one of my favorite moments ever was when I finally learned how to pace myself, because I was really guilty of sprinting immediately and then burning out for the rest of the race. And this time I finally learned how to pace myself. And I had enough to like sprint at the end of the race. And one, fuck cross country. That shit's awful. Oh my God. I hate it. It's the worst mix of stamina and like speed ever. And I just feel sick thinking about it. And I don't know how I used to do it and enjoy it. But the rush I felt after, once again, I think it was my third race ever. I managed to get, I think I was out of 250 kids. I got 7th place, which was really cool. And after that, I was like, I don't want to do any more cross country. That's a peak for me, and I will end on this high note.
Yeah, end on a high note. Seventh place,
Because fuck.
pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty content with that. I was like, do you know what? It's not first, but it's in the top 10. And for how hell this stupid shit is, I was very proud of it. And then after that, moved on to jumps. I did like triple jump, long jump, and all that shit. I was like, I'm not running anymore. No more run.
Did you
Yeah,
ever?
time
Did
came.
you have like the yearly track and field events at your schools?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I
That's how I
only
got into
ever
it.
got participation ribbons. I did what was legally required of me, and then I did not do it anymore.
I had like my few categories that I could do good in, and then the rest of them, yeah, were participation. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's, you know what, fair. Fair.
My parents still hung those participation ribbons up on the fridge, though.
Oh,
Aw.
mine did the same. I was like, don't. Like,
Mine
it's
didn't.
nothing special. Don't do that. Like, please.
Mine
It's actually kind of embarrassing.
I never did the running. I was more of, I played basketball a lot. I have a
Mm.
medal for that somewhere. I was pretty good with
Ooh.
that. And then I did like a year of each sport, but I did not like the running sports. Like baseball, fine. I can
No.
stand in place and just smack shit with a bat. Great. Basketball, light running, but mostly it was just put ball in hoop. I can put ball in hoop. Don't let them put ball in hoop. Great. I'm going to hip check the fuck out of you once you jump. You're not going to
Yeah,
walk the next day.
I'm not a fan of all those running activities.
Oh, I'm like an old woman now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I feel that. Well, between me tearing my hamstring and my lungs being fucked up from an accident I had, I just don't have it in me anymore.
I don't have an excuse. I'm just lazy.
That
old.
too. I mean, even if I did injure myself, I probably would not be doing any running right now. Fuck that. I did my running.
I did my time.
I did my
running.
time. I did it.
I mean, I guess I could still go and like shoot a basketball just fine, but I'm not running it down. If I miss and it goes off,
Yeah.
that now belongs to nature.
Yeah.
That's when you stand there
Mother
and
Nature
point,
reclaims it.
and maybe someone else will get it.
Yeah.
Someone else goes and gets it. Great, thanks. I just swipe it out of their hand.
Thanks. Now you can go.
Yep.
Yeah, fuck off.
Unless I miss my shot, then you go get it again. Thank you.
That's actually
need,
what I
like,
used my nephew for a while. I'd be shooting baskets, and every time like one bounced away, he'd run and get it. I'd be like, "Good job," and then I'd start shooting again.
Like a ball boy from like tennis.
Yep, exactly. Oh, tennis is actually really fun too. I like tennis, but that's still a lot of moving.
Mm-hmm.
I just stick to ping pong now.
I like badminton the most, I think.
Badminton was fun. I miss volleyball probably the most out of all the
Ooh.
sports.
Oh my
but
God.
Volleyball's a lot of moving also.
I suck
I was
at
good
that.
at volleyball, but yeah, it's too much work.
I broke my gym with volleyball with my serve once.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
really good at it, but I was too good at it sometimes, and I would hit it too hard. That was interesting. It was like the loudest metal panel ever. So clang to the floor, and everyone looks at me, and I'm like, hey.
Oopsie.
That wasn't me. Who was that? That's so silly. Looks like the 4-foot girl on my team. How could you?
How could you, you naughty
How
gnome?
could you? How'd you get that over the net? I think that's about it for me. Like Farrah said, I think the rest of my story is now. That one was still pretty small. They're probably just like little, like one little tiny thing that happened. It's like a minute story.
Yeah.
I'm mad. I had like I think 2 other bigger ones that I wanted to tell, but
You're gonna remember them.
I'll
Like,
remember them later.
Yeah, later in
Yeah.
the shower, and you'll be like, "Fuck."
Like, ah,
Fuck,
wait,
I knew I
wait.
was gonna say.
Reconvene.
Come back.
Yeah, part 2.
Run it
of this
back.
Episode.
Let's do it again.
Record like a 6-minute segment and be like, all right, we're good.
Yeah,
And it's have
addendum.
AFK upload it somewhere randomly in the episode.
It's like cut in really bad too. Just randomly dropped
Yeah,
in.
it's not even a smooth transition. It's
I'm
mid
like,
sentence
I
cut off.
interrupt myself talking for
Yeah.
a story.
That'd be funny.
All right.
Well, I think that was pretty good. I misjudged how hard it'd be to like pick a winner for childhood stories.
Dude, it's so hard.
Because these are much more objective.
Yeah.
And this is gonna be really hard. I thought about this after. I was like, it was mid-story, and I was like, fuck, how am I gonna judge these? I'm such an idiot. But also I think I picked the winner because right after I said that, Westy told the poop story. Like literally right after I was thinking
dude,
that.
I literally, as soon as he said that, I was like, "There's no way I'm winning."
Yeah, I was
this
like,
one.
thank you. That makes it easier because before, like, they were both equally like wholesome and good stories of childhood, and like, okay, yeah, I've experienced
That one
something
came out
similar
of
to
left
these.
field, bro.
And I was like, damn, how am I gonna pick a winner? And I hear, and then he pulls down his pants, and I thought he was mooning, but he pooped down a waterfall. And I was like, my winner.
Yeah,
That's my winner,
that's what I
folks.
thought.
I told you at the
So,
start, I was like,
yeah.
I have a few, but I have one that's like not super wholesome, but man, I remember it.
It's still a core memory. Once again, it could have been shocking. That's a shocking story for sure.
It wasn't
I mean,
negative
you thought
to
it was
me.
funny when you were a kid.
Right? Like, that's still a good story as a kid. A kid me would have laughed at that too. I would have been like, oh my god, he's pooping down a waterfall. That's crazy. Me now, I'd be like, wow,
It
that's
was-
dude,
Me
what
now,
the
I would
hell?
push him down the waterfall.
Yeah, I poop on him after I pushed him off too. I totally favor it.
It just made it fun. I wish I could describe it because it's like the waterfall you ride down was like it goes down an arc and then drops. And so you go right into like this deep pool at the bottom.
Oh.
But the one he went down, it was like a Hot Wheels track, slightly angled, very, very small. Just enough for like him to properly shit down. And it went
His log
right into this
dispenser
group of Boy
waterfall.
Scouts who started fucking screaming. And the counselor, I think it's kind of the counselor, the guide, whatever, was just like screaming, "You motherfucker!" Like trying to run up at us, but he couldn't. So he just left.
So good. Yeah, I think that wins. It was close before that, but that story won it. I was wild.
Potty humor is
Potty humor is
potty
peak
humor is
humor.
yeah.
I don't have
It's
a
never
lot
not
of
funny.
those. It's mostly that one cousin who just played with his ass a lot.
Don't phrase it like that.
This victory is a shout out to you, Josh. Thank you for experimenting with your butthole.
Hey.
Yeah, shout out to Josh.
Shout out to Josh for pooping.
Let's go.
Taking
Work
Down
the
the
a shit
waterfall.
in
cheeks.
a public water place where kids are hanging out.
Yep.
Taking a new term to water sports.
Shat on those Boy Scouts.
Damn.
That was, now that I'm thinking about it, the bougiest toilet anyone could have ever. It went down a fucking waterfall.
Yeah, that's fancy.
I will.
I'm just
never
thinking
be
about
that
the Boy
rich.
Scouts that went home and probably to this day also probably still tell that story. But from a
But
very
yeah,
different
I would
perspective.
remember that. I would absolutely remember
You're learning
that.
how
I
to
would.
fish, and then a turd just comes floating down in front of you. And there's like two teenagers, technically. Two teenagers and like a small kid just on the rocks above you, laughing their asses
Laughing.
off.
Yeah, they definitely told their children about that.
God, I hope so.
Probably like, yeah, this one time we saw 2 logs. They weren't logs, but they were going down the waterfall.
That's actually what the Loch Ness monster was.
It was
All this
just
time.
poop.
Oh yeah.
Teenagers boy poop.
After Taco Bell, though, that's how you got to get the Loch Ness monster.
Right. As with spice.
We are a high quality podcast.
Please do
We are.
not poop or pee.
Yeah, for disclaimer, don't poop down a waterfall.
In any public water, like any pools, lakes.
Don't
the
shit on people
ocean.
in public.
Well, you
Yeah.
can probably pee in the ocean, but don't poop in the ocean.
Yeah. 'cause
Well,
fish pee in
unless
the
it's an
ocean, you're just
emergency.
ruining them. Right.
Okay, if it's an emergency, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
about
if it's
it.
an emergency, but don't like intentionally shit on a group of kids learning how to fish in a
Right.
fucking lake.
Like if you're feeling really crazy, just moon them
Yeah,
and walk away.
like
Even that, it's not worth it sometimes. Just moon your friend. I just turn around and moon everyone else.
I am so glad I had the childhood I did sometimes.
Makes for good stories.
It does, it's true.
does. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate you, bud. I'll visit you, I'll know, in a couple months. I'll play this episode for him.
Perfect.
You should
yeah.
absolutely should.
Hey,
Yes.
you're famous.
He would just point and laugh and be like, I remember that.
That's good. Good sport. Farrah, any loser speech? Was that it? Don't poop down any water. Don't poop in
Yeah,
any water. Yeah, I
Don't
think that's a
poop
good one.
in the water.
I think that's a good disclaimer.
Don't poop in the water,
Yeah.
looking at toilet nervously.
Oh,
shit.
don't poop in public
Yeah.
water where people are swimming.
Yeah, go ahead.
Or
and poop
like
in your bathtub if
drinking.
you
Also,
want.
yeah, like not drinking water probably either.
Oh god, I just realized that lake was
No.
probably like connected to some sort of reservoir people got their water from. You know what? There was fish in that. There was fish shitting in there. There was a filtration system. We're
There's
good.
probably a processing. Yeah, we're good. Well, with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode of The Unintelligibles. I was your host this week and sharing crazy poop childhood stories. Arva _69 on Twitter, Arva on Twitch, joined by my 2 lovely co-hosts, Westy and Farrah. Westy, HCC on Twitter, and then Sir Westy on Twitch.
That's me.
Farrah Silvertail on Twitter, and oh wait,
Yeah.
no, yeah, and then Farrah the
Yeah,
Bat
yeah.
on Twitch.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh,
You got
okay,
it. You got
I got it.
it.
Every
You got it,
time
you
I
got
get
it.
nervous, I'm like, oh shit. No, I got it.
You have to
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about it for a second.
A little process. But thank you all, and I'll see you. I guess we'll all see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.